What's up, guys? This is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights, Camera, Keco Collect, every Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And we got an Avengers level panel. We got, as Optical mentioned off stream, so I don't want to take credit for the joke, we got the Liver King here with us. So it's going to be a very exciting show here. And we got Mr. Optical himself, Optical 20. We pulled him out of his hibernation. He's back into live streaming. Very excited about that. Guys, we're going to talk about the Avatar figures, of course, because everyone really wants to talk about those. It's already crossed $1 billion. And, of course, they're $380 at Sideshow. So we're going to talk about that. DeLorean paying for 1/6 figures is collecting, changing in 1/6. Talking about shopping deals, all that good stuff. But before we do that, let's address this amazing panel. Mr. Keco / Handsome Butters / The Liver King. How you doing this evening, bro?
Primals. Will, it's great to be here with you as always, but it's a little bit cold here in Nashville, Tennessee. The wind is blowing and it's like 20, which is a little bit too much for me. So I went ahead and threw on this tribal primal headdress, to get myself ready for tonight because I want to be serious. I want to take this serious. And once again, it's great to be here with you on this show, Will. So I'm excited for it. Let's roll.
Great to have you, bro. Where'd you get that hat?
This actually is my wife's. So, like,
I know Optical and I were both wondering.
I remember there's like a picture. I'll send it to you after this. There's like 5 years ago, we went on this date or whatever, and one of her friends had a giant like bear coat type of thing. It was a bit similar like this, but it was a coat or whatever for a man. And she had this or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Where do I get one of these bear coats? She's like, well, this is all I have. I'm like, well, that's cool. So I just grabbed this because I saw it laying on the floor this morning. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear this tonight because I was like, I need to play a character on here and we need to do it right. So here we are.
It actually looks pretty dope, bro. I mean, you've never looked better.
It's actually really warm. Like, I actually, true story. I went and I actually posted it on my story. I said, come to this live stream, but it was a picture from lunch when I left and I had my sunglasses on with this, and I drove to pick up my sushi in this outfit.
Did you? Wow. I'm sure they were very impressed, bro.
So shout out to Sephora in Gallatin, Tennessee. So
nice. That's great. Well, when I come visit, we're going to go. So I appreciate it, bro. And it's going to be fun. And Optical, how you doing, bro? It's been a while since I got you on a live stream. How you doing, man? How you holding up?
Doing great. Just been hibernating all these time. Just trying to stay away from people like you, but
yeah, I know, me and Keco both.
No, it's happy to be here, man. I don't have the kind of primal hat like Keco does have. I'm doing my primal.
It's a mindset, Optical. Stack the tenets, brother.
The 9 tenets. So yeah.
That's in the Bible, from what I remember.
Yes,
so, it's like the commandments. But yeah, Optical, good to have you back, bro. And guys, Optical, I know I think we're doing it Monday, Optical. We still got to figure out the time. But
yeah,
Optical and I are going to be on my new Last of Us channel, which I'm going to announce for you guys. Optical and I are going to be recapping the episode that happens on Sunday night for The Last of Us on HBO. So we're going to be doing that. And couldn't think of anyone better to do it with me because Optical has played the game not as many times as I have, but many times. And I know, Optical, you 100%ed it. So super excited about that, bro. I can't wait to talk about that with you because Optical, I don't know if you saw the reviews, 97%. So it's
percentages mean nothing, Will. We all know that.
They do on Rotten Tomatoes, Keco. We're going to see it, bro. What do you say,
from
Optical?
IGN too. So
yeah, IGN, right?
I think it's from IGN, right? IGN.
Well, everyone gave it. It's Rotten Tomatoes 97%, so it's like an aggregated score. So yeah. So everyone gave it positive, essentially. Anyway, guys, let's address the chat real quick before we jump into our first topic. Pure Sue said, go Bills. Yeah, I like the Bills, too, especially since DeMar Hamlin's doing so well. Everyone's rooting for the Bills. Thule said fourth. King Killa. Carlos said, Keco loves to throw hero-gasms. Yeah, I guess so, bro. That's a good episode of The Boys. That's disgusting. Yeah, Carlos is always disgusting. Some guy, what's up? Quite enough. Sean Breeze Collectibles, what is up? What is up? Simon, AJ Agarusa, channel member. Hello to the panel. Hope you all are having a great Friday. You too, AJ. Paul Sue, what's up? Morning, handsome dudes. What's up? Like to see everyone's take on the possibility of Hot Toys' humongous creatures from Avatar. Yes, those banshees look pretty crazy, to say the least. That said, AJ Agarusa is still here. Chris Collectibles, Yomo, Collector Joey on his ride home, hopefully. Good to see you, Joey. Tyria, Sergeant Sal Collects, what's up? The Collector number 1, DT Artman, Bennikin, About Future, Pedro Lopez, Chasen Haas, what's up, Jason? Jason Himmelroy, what's up, Jason? Nick's Collectibles, the Rat King. And the Mustache King. Alien Queen representing the 3% of the women audience. Thank you so much, Alien Queen. Good to have you here. I don't know about your guys' analytics, but 3% women on this channel. So we're going to boost those. Those are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up.
Your dating tips are really working.
They really are, Optical. Clearly they are, bro. We got one woman in the chat. Ash Chase, what's up? Yomo. This is why I'm glad to have Optical back. AJ Agarusa, what's up, AJ? Ganesh Paramanathan? Paramanathan. I'm pretty sure I got that right. Optical, I look forward to your explanation to not pre-ordering in our Lord of the Rings. He's going to pre-order. Optical, please tell the people you're going to pre-order. See, he's unsure right now. He's undecided. We're going to talk about it. InGoal Productions can mention T'Challa, Star-Lord, and Sideshow seems to watch. Oh, yeah. Well, that is a really good figure. Hopefully there's some news on it soon. Obi. AJ Agarusa, what's up? Quite enough. Last Jedi has a 90 with Rotten Tomatoes. I don't trust him.
That's facts. That is facts.
That is facts. You are right, Kika. That's facts. Quite enough made a good point. Mike Fowler with the caps lock. No exclamation points though. I'm looking in the top right corner of my screen. Oh, that's a Liver King. Yeah, that's what that is. Chris Santos, what's up, Will? Mr. Mom Collectibles, what's up, dude? FBJ, MB, listening on my drive home. Dude, thanks so much for joining on the ride home, bro. Hopefully it's a good ride. Josh, good to see you, bro. How's it going, everyone? About to buy my first Hot Toy, the Mark 46. Nice. Enjoy that. I'm assuming it's the new one, Josh. You're going to have to let us know. The new one with the cool base. That's pretty dope. Duran Moss. What's up, Duran? Or Duran, I'm not sure. Duran, you have to correct me. Collector Chris, King Killa, Joe Geista, Serafina Lights. Is that a woman? Because if so, 4%. First time in a live stream, usually end up being too late. Good to see you. Nick's Collectibles, WhoTube. Alien Queen said, woohoo, 3%. I know, representing. Mary Sullivan, see? We got two.
I actually want to say,
we got another one.
I looked at my analytics. 4.2 female for this channel.
Dude,
it's the hat.
4.2.
Well, I mean, it's not fair, Kiko. You're just more handsome with the hat. It's not. It's I don't have the classic good looks of handsome butters, so not all that blessed. So.
Oh, boy, Will.
See, and Optical's like, what the fuck did I join today? He's like,
I should have stayed hibernated.
I should have stayed in hibernation.
You joined the wrong chat today, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Mark Attack, why does Kiko look like he's about to break into the Capitol? Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, actually. Kiko was at the rally or whatever that was.
I was here on January 6th. I promise.
That's your alibi. You were getting sushi. Nick said my girlfriend's probably here too, so 4%. There we go. Mary said I watch you too, Kiko. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, see, Kiko has more feminine features, Carlos said. Maybe that's why. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys, let's address the first topic. Let's waste no time. Hot Toys, Avatar, Jake Sully, and Neytiri. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly because I've not seen the second one, and it's been like, how many years since the first one came out? 10 years? A really long time.
Yeah.
So I actually want to start with you, Optical, because I know you haven't even seen these yet, have you?
No, I didn't even know that it came out.
Okay, so I want to show you something then, and this is going to be a live reaction, bro. So this is the Jake Sully from the new Avatar, Avatar 2, The Way of Water, right? I've not seen the film yet. I've heard it's really great. I've also heard kind of mixed things about it, but it's making a ton of money already, just as everyone thought it would. Optical is $380. It's about almost 18 inches tall. So it's like as big as Carnage, basically, in terms of height. The collector's edition is $335, but the deluxe is $380, and it comes with this cool light up base. So Optical, some of the criticisms have been visible joints, right? You got visible joints in a lot of different spots, knees, elbows, shoulders. But the head sculpt looks great. But Optical, and Sideshow's trying to give me $20 off, but I can't do it. Optical, what do you think, dude? What are your overall thoughts about this? I'll show you some other pics as we go on, but just what are you thinking?
I forgot how much the original was, the original Jake Sully.
I gotta find it. Yeah.
The 380 seems about right because it's a big figure, right? That's tall. Let's just say it's a tall figure, not big one. 380 sounds about right, but if I have to follow what Jake Sully was back then, dude, that guy you can have for 140. Back in the day, you can have him for 140, easy. People were disposing him back then, even if you buy them, because he just doesn't fit on anything. You got the Marvel, you got the Star Wars people, you got the DC, and then you got this guy, this blue guy. So people would buy them and then eventually be like, man, this doesn't, and then it requires a lot of space. Like you need to adjust your detail for whatever it is that you're using. And eventually people will be like, yeah, I don't know about this. So I'm going to dispose this. And this is back in Collector Freaks, or back then it was Sideshow Freaks back then. They could, I get the joints. Again, I get that. If you want to pose it, I mean, he's blue anyway. It's not that unsightly. In my opinion, it's not that unsightly. One thing they could have integrated though was the purse. I mean, at this day and age, I mean, that should be a 380. That should be mandatory at this point, because it doesn't. The base for the first one is light up too, so it's no, it's not different than this. I haven't seen the movie. I actually like the first movie. I mean, a lot of people were like bashing it or whatever. You know, it's like, oh, but I like the first movie. I don't see myself picking either one of these guys up at 380. I hope they buy it. I hope people buy it and have buyer's remorse and maybe sell it for low. And maybe I'll pick it up
They can
back
sell it
then.
for half.
That's the only way I think I would pick this up. I mean, I haven't seen the movie. Maybe I'll love it. I don't know. It's too tall for me. You know, like I don't have a case that would fit this to, nor I don't know where to put them next to I don't know, Predator. I don't know.
Right, those one-offs, dude.
Right, they're the one-offs, and it looks like they were riding a sea turtle or whatever that is.
They are. Let me show you something, Optical. See if this changes your mind. There's a big ass sea turtle that they ride. Not really. It's called a banshee. But you can see here.
Are they selling that?
No, not yet. But they might. But I don't think they will. But they could, right? But it's a possibility. But look, they're riding a big ass banshee, right? And that looks pretty dope.
That's bigger than my dog, first and foremost.
Right. It is pretty much bigger than your dog.
A Maltese. But this is bigger than my dog.
You get papers when you buy this. So you have to, it's registered.
I remember I bought like the what do you call that from the new Jurassic Park, because my son loves Jurassic Park, this new thing in Target for $50. It's literally bigger than my dog. I don't know where to put that. I hate that thing. I want to throw it away, but he loves it. But this looks more expensive or around DeLorean price. Yeah, he was like, this looks expensive, and it looks like a pain in the ass to display as well. And I don't know how much if you love Avatar that much to be able to dedicate a space this big for this too. But if you do, hey, kudos to you. And you know, this might be an expensive journey for you, because by looking at this too right here, it feels like 1,500 easily. Just this entire set. Maybe more.
Well, it's got to be Optical, because the two figures are almost 800.
Right.
And so then you got the Banshees. I don't think they're going to list this Banshee personally. I don't think.
Can't imagine how would they ship this. Like, how would it fit in a box? Like, unless you can break down the wings and all that stuff. I don't know. But I mean, it's cool. I like the fact that they're there. I like the fact that they're being made. The joints doesn't bother me as much because they're blue. You know, like it's not like a human form that, you know, it's, I mean, your only other option is make it rubber. Now people are going to complain you can't pose it. So, you know, it's one or the other. But 380 sounds fair. I'm not gonna get it. Because of the big eyes, I wish it has purse. It would be perfect. But that's it. You know, like if it goes on sale at around 200-ish, maybe I'll pick it up. But until then, I'll pass on this.
I'm with you, dude. Overall, I look at this and I'm like, man, the head sculpt is great. The tailoring and the outfit overall is great. I mean, it's a lot of skin, right? The skin texture looks pretty cool. You're right, the Optical there's a trade-off one way or another, but I feel like with Seamless, I would have preferred that. I've not even seen the second film, so I probably wouldn't get these anyway unless I see the second film and I'm just blown away. I really liked the first film. I'm with you, Optical. I really liked it. But those joints, bro, they really bother me. I don't know why. They really bother me in today's age.
They could have gone out of that split on the chest area, though.
Right.
I mean, would you really need that?
I mean, because Ahsoka Rosario has seamless shoulders. And like what they did Optical with She-Hulk, why couldn't they take some of that technology and put it here? Like, I
guess
don't
this is
understand.
more, if I have to guess, this is more dynamic. I mean, she has a bow, so you know, like she needs to raise her hand compared to Ahsoka, perhaps. And I have one of those seamless shoulders with my Wonder Woman. They're scary. They're like, it feels like they're gonna rip all the time. And I guess I don't feel the need to raise her arm because she's Wonder Woman. But this one, it feels like it's more dynamic. So I get it. It's a trade-off, you know, but I get it. But the part here, I don't know if I'm all for that. You know, like, I don't know, like, why?
Right. Yeah. I think I'm excited for people that want these though, because I think the head sculpts look great, and maybe in hand the joints you can get past it. I just think in today's day and age, those joints they just bother me a bit. I guess it depends on the figure, but I guess we'll see. Keco, fill us in, bro. Fill us in on your Liver King thoughts, man. What are you thinking about these two,
brother? We are already on take one or topic one, and I got a lot of stuff to say. And I know I thank God Carlos isn't on this, because I know we'd be fighting already about things.
All right,
but
let's fight.
Where should I start? Let's start with this hot take, is that I think Avatar is probably the most overhyped film in all of film. I remember where I was 10 years ago when it first came out. I was sitting in a Tennessee judicial conference, and everyone's like, oh my God, have you seen Avatar? Have you seen Avatar? And it's where like people started bringing it into their presentations. Like, guys, I want to show this, clip from Avatar. Has anybody seen this movie? That type of thing. I was like, I don't get it. For one, too fucking long. I don't care. And
You've
I
been
feel
consistent about that.
And I feel like it's a very simple story that is just very pretty. Okay. Remember we talked about cotton candy films last week.
Mhm.
This is another cotton candy film. I remember hearing people, and I'm not trying to downplay people and like depression and things like that, but people were saying that they left Avatar feeling depressed that they had to go back into the bland world because Pandora was so much more wild and vibrant than this world. And it was too tough for them to go on. And I mean, that's messed up for one. Like it's Avatar. I just don't get it. Like even when I was like in Disney, I skipped the Avatar ride because I'm like, for one, line's too long. I don't got time for this. I'm gonna go to
even the line was too long.
Even the line was too long. It's like it's the greatest ride you'll ever experience. It's an experience, man. It's an experience. I'm like, well, I'll experience it through YouTube, I guess. So I'm like, it just never did it for me. Then they're like, hey, we're making Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm like, what? I was like, this is gonna be longer than Lord of the Rings. There's no way this is gonna work. But apparently they're like, haven't you seen how much money it's made? I was like, money and audience score does not represent a good film. We all know that. That does not make it a good film because it made money. There's plenty of shit films on there that made money, okay? So that doesn't make it a good film. So now let's talk about these figures, okay? Am I getting them? I think you can tell, no. But I'm going to try to be more objective and subjective to some of these things. The biggest bitching and moaning, and people are talking, oh my God, the joints. Okay, these are thin, slender creatures, okay? You're like, well, why couldn't it have gone seamless body like She-Hulk and all that stuff? Because she had muscle around her arms to where there's more rubber there. You could not put rubber on these thin little arms. You have to have that. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's going to look so unsightly. Well, it's going to look unsightly when the rubber breaks too, when you have a seamless body. So which one do you want? You want to be able to pose this? And so that's my thought on this. The thing I thought was interesting about these two things are, I think on the item description, it talks about implanted hair. Did you see that?
Yeah, let me pull it up. I'll take a look.
And I don't know what that means. There's something about highly detailed
hair implantation. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Because it's not rooted hair. Are we putting it on the body? Or that's the one thing I thought was interesting that I didn't know what it is. But the one thing I'll say about these figures, that the paint scheme looks brilliant. I think that looks great. I can't wait to see it. But these just aren't for me. And once again, you're going to have people get mad when Iron Man comes out again because no one's going to buy these because this just didn't tick their box, essentially. But they're not joining my collection because I don't care for the movie, but this is super exciting for the people that do. But going back to Gore, even, why does he not have a seamless body? We are past this. Well, just like we were talking with Queen and InArt on Tuesday, they're like, we just don't have the technology right now to commit to a body, because the last thing you want to do is put something out that doesn't look good and it breaks and people are complaining. That's one of the things they said. And I just don't think that for a slender character like this, that you can go seamless body, especially if you want to do something dynamic, because maybe the technology just doesn't exist. I don't know. But those are all my hot takes out there. So no, I'm not going to go see Avatar. I'm not going to see Avatar 2, and I'm not getting these figures.
Well, maybe, Keco, it's a matter also of the skin tone in terms of like with the blue lines and the paint and stuff like that. That would be difficult to do on seamless body. But again, Keco, I have been, and I probably should have said this to be fair, I have been pretty consistent about Gore, right? Give a swappable pair of arms that are non-articulated, that are plastic. Like, you get rid of the joints. And
would it be a power pose, though, at that point?
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Because then I could swap in the shoulders, and if I want to articulate, I'll put on the other pair. Like, why is that so difficult to do?
And I can see that being an option for this, especially for the bow and arrow, like a power pose, bow and arrow thing.
Something like that.
Something like that.
They did it with Thanos, with the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why can't they do it with, like an Optical, I'll let you jump in. Like, why couldn't they have done that with Gore, for example? Like, give Gore a swappable pair that maybe can hold the sword or something that you can't move, but they don't have seams, right? That, I think they could have done something like, I mean, you still have seams on the legs and the shoulders and whatever, but at least you mitigate some of that issue. But Optical, what do you think? I mean, is it just kind of the best case scenario here?
Because no one's going to buy the Gore, and that's why they don't exert any effort.
Right.
I know they did it on Thor. They did it on Thor, Infinity War Thor. Not, but you can swap the arms. I'm surprised they actually made this, because the previous Jake Sully just sat forever. And that was a time where there was no 3.0, no InArt. Hot Toys was just by themselves, and that thing sat. So I'm surprised that are they expecting it. I mean, and the movie back then was hot, because this is the first time we've seen a 3D movie back then, and people are going crazy about Avatar.
Yeah.
Apparently it's still it's making money, but I highly doubt they're gonna sell a lot of these, especially a 380. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it
They're
could be
going to be
optical.
sitting at the Disney parks for like 600 a piece. That's exactly
Right.
where they're going to be sitting at.
Well, it could be the kind of like we've seen this a lot too. Like Harry Potter makes a shit ton of money, but I don't think Harry Potter collectors want to collect high-end Harry Potter shit, as far as figures go, at least. Because you can look at like Star Race or any other company like making Harry Potter shit, they just don't really seem to move. So as popular as Harry Potter is, and Avatar could be similar. Like people want to go see it, but they don't really want to buy merchandise from it as far as like high-end figures, right? They'll buy Target shit or whatever, right? But they're not going to buy this. And they want to go to Avatar in fucking Disney, but they don't really care about this, right? So I think this might be in line with that. But I mean, I think you're right, Optical. I'm wondering why maybe they already had the mold for Jake Sully and like, we'll just make a Neytiri too. I don't know. I mean, but the movie's making money. That must have been why they did it. So
I wonder, going to kind of what you had said, is that I wonder if there is some type of Disney contract to where there has to be at least something from every show and film, except for Miss Marvel. We don't get that one.
Yeah, everyone but Miss Marvel.
Maybe there's some type of out clause, essentially. But it's very interesting because we've gotten something, regardless of reception, for everything, except Miss Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. I guess we'll see. But guys, great thoughts on that one. Let's move on to our next topic. But before we do, actually, let's address these super chats. Mr. Carlos, thanks so much, bro. This space gives me SpongeBob vibes. It does a little bit, actually. I really like that it's USB-C, though. USB-C, I think that's pretty great. It's a nice advancement. I know Optical, you've been around for a while and seen these bases that are USB-C instead of battery, and, you know, getting like Iron Man that lights up Mark 1, USB-C. That's pretty dope. So I think that's a good innovation there. Joe Geista said, I'm honestly stoked for these. I love Way of Water, but they need to fix the bow size. That's funny, Joe. You're the only one that mentioned the bow size. Everyone else is like, the joints. And Joe's like, it's the bow size. It's the bow size. That, I'm happy for you, though, bro. I've not seen and Keco, I know you haven't seen it. Optical, you haven't seen it either, right?
I haven't seen it, no.
Okay. It's making, I think it's maybe over 1.5 bill now. It's doing pretty well, I think.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's doing really well. So,
Golf clap.
I know Keco doesn't care because he doesn't like long movies. So let's see. Sergeant Keco Collects, thanks so much. It looked like an upscale version of McFarlane. See, and I've heard that comment a lot. Target, McFarlane. I don't know if I agree on that because I've heard that people said that about King Shark. People said that about
even Venom. They said Venom.
Venom, right?
And it's like a big what do you call that?
Well, I said that at one point, Optical, and I'm willing to eat my words on that because when I got Venom in person, I know you did too. Venom in person is fucking dope.
Pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah.
See, yeah. But I thought it kind of looked originally like with the joints a little. I mean, he has you know, I guess seamless joints to a degree, but the feet joints and shoulders and stuff like that, but it blends in pretty nicely. So yeah, but I get where you guys are coming from. Just for me, I probably wouldn't agree, but to each their own. Okay. Let's address the Hot Toys DeLorean because everyone is really excited about this. And it sounds like Kiko's going to get this, but Optical, I want to start with you on this one. Is this something that you're going to be picking up? Because I know this thing eats up a lot of space. The price is pretty expensive, but nothing too crazy for a vehicle of this size. And I think it came out pretty nice overall. So Optical, what do you think, man? Is this coming to your collection? What are your overall thoughts?
It's a discussion, you know, because this is even though I don't have any Back to the Future figures, I just didn't feel, and the reason I didn't pick any up is I just didn't feel that they're there. You know what I mean? Like even Marty or this Doc, but the vehicle itself is pretty iconic. So you put him out there, you don't need a figure inside. I mean, ideally you want one, but you know, but it's pretty iconic. This is one of the, I know you're going back and forth with Tumblr, Will.
Yep.
And I'm the same way with this guy. You're always like, oh man, if it goes on sale like X amount, I'll pick it up. And then it goes on sale for that X amount. I was like, oh, only if you're gonna talk
it's like it's just not the right time.
If it was just 20% more instead of 15, it was like it's like 5% is gonna make a difference. Yeah, this is a big commitment. Not price wise, you know, because you know, with in our nowadays with $1,000 Joker, with this being 800, feels like a steal, right? I mean, it's a vehicle,
right?
But the commitment here is the space where you're going to allot this, because you can't just throw it in, you know, the corner of your room and be like, this needs to be just out there and be with a spotlight or something. It just looks really good. But it turned out great. I mean, the price is, I think it's really fair, especially nowadays. You know, you see in art with $500 figures and all that stuff. And this is light up function and electronics and all that stuff. You don't even need to modify that, because back in the day, you know, with the old DeLorean, you need to modify it to make the wheels go like this. It looks really good, and it's a consideration at this point for me. Like you with a Tumblr, You're like trying to convince yourself to get it or trying to convince yourself not to get it. I'm in that I'm in that middle point where like, oh man, it looks really good, but I don't know where to put it. It's like
Optical is USB-C too, which is dope, dude.
That is amazing. I mean, never say never, because back then when the first DeLorean came out, it shoot up to like 3,000. So if we miss this, I don't know, like nothing's impossible nowadays. So but it's a consideration. If it really hits that point where it's like close to 600 shipped, I might just pull the trigger.
Yeah, dude.
I might just pull the trigger. And I'm not saying that because the price is not right. It's perfectly fine. It's, at 600, kind of like, all right, I'll make some space, kind of a deal. So.
Right. Well, it's one of those two optical, and I think we've started to see this where people are like, well, I'll wait for the in-art. But the one thing you have to consider with in-art with a vehicle like this, it's going to cost a hell of a lot more. With in-art, it's probably going to cost around $2,000, if not more. So for that, to me, that's like you got to be a fucking diehard DeLorean fan. Like you gotta love Back to the Future to spend that much when you can get the Hot Toys, which is pretty damn good. And in-art probably, I hope it would be better, right? But this one's pretty damn good already. And $800, really, you can't complain about that at all. That's pretty fair for a vehicle of this size with this much light up feature, with this much electronics involved. Paint app looks great. So Keco, what do you think, man? Is this coming home to you? I have a pretty good hunch that it probably is.
One of the things I'm so excited for, Will, is that once you do visit, amongst other things, is that we are also going to be watching Back to the Future together. That's going to be good. And so I want you to understand why this car means so much. But going back to Optical's point is that, oh, shit. Venom.
It's all the steroids, dude.
That's right. That's right, brother. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. Back to Optical's point. He said you can get around 600 shipped or whatever, that's going to be something to consider. Well, I've told you forever is that I've had a shit ton of Sideshow reward points just sitting there and they're about to expire because nothing's ever in stock. So I'm like, I am putting it towards the DeLorean. So I put all my Sideshow points towards the DeLorean as well as, a $20 coupon. And so, yeah, it's in the queue. It's pre-ordered. It's ready to go. So as soon as it's in, it's coming straight to me. And as they had mentioned, the fact that it's all light up features, you don't have to worry about batteries because it's USB powered. So, and the fact that this can be displayed in the hover mode is super cool in the base because it gives it a really neat silhouette for display options. And I'm really considering, because that's the one thing you need to worry about is the space issue, is where you're going to put it to where it's going to be properly displayed. And that's a big thing. I'm really thinking it's probably going to go right here because I think that's, especially with all the live streams and things that we do, that'd be a great spot for it. But there's two vehicles I would own, the DeLorean and the Ecto 1. I've told you that. Those are the ones those are the only two vehicles I plan to own. And this is one of them. And I'm excited to check that off. And going back to InArt is, I don't know what more you would want for a premium price, is that you don't want it too big and too heavy. I know they're talking about, a metal chassis for the Batmobile. Well, then where are you going to put it, without it go crashing down? I mean, this is light, that's good. There's not really anything that's going to degrade. I think even the seats are kind of like the molded plastic, which is fine. And then it's USB powered. I mean, what more could you elevate if you're at, I don't know, maybe some higher quality, I don't know, but then you just get into it being premium just for premium's sake. If it looks this good, I don't know how much better you could make it without being stupid just for, I paid $2,000 because of the name at that point. So that's my thought.
Right. And that makes sense. And I think, like I said, it's probably a little more for the diehard Back to the Future fans, but I do feel like for the people that are, willing to pay a premium, yeah, you're probably going to get a metal car. I mean, it's going to be pretty expensive, but it's also going to be pretty heavy too. So we got to factor that into the equation. Like you said, Keco, you got to have a shelf or something stable that's going to, make this thing, stay. But I would say as far as this Hot Toys one, you're right, Keco. I think this is an Optical too. This is a pretty damn good value for what you're getting. And
the tires are rubber too. I mean, tires are rubber, all that stuff, real
and all
mesh.
Those electronics, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of electronics. I mean, I honestly look at this in Keco, like Back to the Future 1, I really, really liked it. I don't know if it was enough for me to buy collectibles for it. So maybe I have to watch the other two and maybe I'm going to want to get this afterwards. But yeah, bro. I mean, even I look at this and I'm like, damn, this looks fucking good, man. This looks really good. And I kind of want it, even though I don't even really love Back to the Future that much. I'm not going to get it, but it's pretty dope. I hope Optical gets it though. I hope Optical gets it.
To Keiko's point, man, this and Ecto 1 are just so iconic.
Right.
It just screams 80s. And being from that era, it was kind of like, hey man, you kind of just have to own it, even though you don't really. I mean, I don't love the film all that much either, but I realized like what it means, like this car in Ecto One. So I love Ghostbusters though, but it just looks so cool.
But Optical, look at that even with the doors open, dude. That just looks like really cool, honestly.
Yeah. It's the best time machine they've ever come up with in film, honestly.
Oh, yeah, no
it's
doubt.
so cool. I mean, just an idea of a time machine car, and it was a futuristic car with doors that flew open. I mean, it was perfect.
Yep. And the phone booth was pretty good in Bill and Ted, but it's not on this level. Not on this level. Yeah, it's pretty good though. But yeah, I hope you guys pick it up and hope everyone's really excited about it because I think it looks dope. So anyway, guys, let's move on to our next topic. But before we do, it looks like we just got a super chat. Batman Collectibles. What's up, Batman Collectibles? Thank you so much, bro. What's up, crew? I pre-ordered the DeLorean. Couldn't resist. Also got my shipping notice for my 66 Jazz Ink Batmobile. I need space. Yeah, you definitely do, bro. I heard Yosh, was talking about some of this stuff today, actually. So yeah, really excited about that. Sounds pretty cool, especially for the Batman collectors out there. But happy for you, Batman Collectibles. Thanks so much, bro, for the nice super chat. Guys, let's move forward. Let's address the topic because this, I think, is the topic that I think everyone in 1/6 needs to talk about. And for any of the manufacturers that are watching, hopefully we do not incriminate ourselves here because they're going to be like, at a live stream at 6:03 p.m. on WillFoxification, you all said that you're willing to pay X amount for a figure. So now we're going to charge that X amount. I want to ask you guys something. And the reason I bring this up, Optical kind of led into this a little bit, but I'm going to start with this one. Anart Aragorn. Most of us view this price as pretty reasonable, I would say. At $480, I think maybe we're just used to it at this point. We're accustomed to it. But I wanted to ask you guys, how much are you willing to pay for a 1/6 figure? Because I think as more companies start to enter the fold in terms of 1/6, they enter the marketplace, I think we're going to get used to spending more than we've been currently accustomed to being used to. I think when J&D enters and when other companies possibly enter 1/6 and this competition really starts heating up, you're going to see more premium, high-end marketed figures. And at that point, you're going to be paying more than you're used to paying for a figure. So Optical, I want to start with you because you are the most seasoned of all of us of collectors. How much really are you willing to pay for a 1/6 figure? Because I think we're starting to see things change a bit.
And this is kind of like to answer Ganesh earlier, why I haven't pre-ordered Aragorn. And that's a big part of it. And it's not like I can't afford Aragorn or Joker. It's not like I can't. Like I think I spent like $2,000 for pop culture the other day.
Yeah, you did.
There's a lot of factors going into this, right? Like how much to answer the question, how much are you willing to pay for a 1/6 figure? I guess depending on there's a lot of factors to it, but my biggest thing is that at the end of the day, these are toys, right? And I don't really want to be a dumbass, even though I can't afford it, to spend $500 on a doll. Okay, I know people doesn't want to hear it. Oh, it's a piece of art. It's a doll. It's a toy. Could I afford it? I sure could, but I already feel a dumbass buying this Hot Toys figure for $300, and you make me want to spend $1,000 because it has real hair. Kind of like, okay, I mean, at some point, I got to be an adult, right? At some point, I got to feel like a man again and be like, you got to draw the line somehow. It's like, I am not going to be a dumbass and pay. As much as I like Aragorn and Lord of the Rings, I just can't, the price is probably where we're at now, but you can see Hot Toys kind of step back with some of their, like the Anakin Skywalker is less than 300. I think they're, to some degree, you're going to be like, yeah, I mean, it looks real, but to Kiko's point earlier, like, what can Kiko take a good picture of a Mezco and make it look good? He could, right? He doesn't need rooted hair for that. I'm the only one who sees this. Am I the only one fooling myself when I go to my base and was like, this Aragorn looks great? It's like, do I need the best, the finest for these dolls? That's what it comes down to, right? I would say around 300 would be my 320, and that is not like, of course you get the die cast and all that stuff. I haven't bought anything since November or something, and it's probably because the game is changing, and I know it's going to be another topic. The game is changing, and I'm not sure if I'm willing to go with that flow. Like at the end of the day, I'm a grown ass man, and I don't really want to spend I don't want to allot X amount of dollars for these guys. And if that means I'm gonna take a picture of Mesco or something else, the reason I collect is because it fuels my creativity, and I can be creative without owning the best things out there. Like with Keco, what we were talking about earlier, he's making stuff happens with like minimum lighting and all that stuff.
Yep.
There comes to a point where you're gonna be like, you're gonna question your decisions in life. You're like, shit, did I just bought $1,000 doll?
I mean, I'm wearing a wolf on my head.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know about my
We've really hit rock bottom here. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like, man. And with these guys, you don't know how they would perform in the aftermarket. We're used to switching things here and there, right? We're used to switching things. It's like, all right, it doesn't mean that you buy Terminator now, it's going to last for you forever. We don't know if you're going to lose $300 when you sell your 2-pack Joker, and I hate losing money, and, it's just, that's not where I'm here for. But yeah, the hobby in general is shifting. Hot Toys in art and 3.0 and all that stuff. There comes to a point, and you're a grown ass adult, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm not paying that. It's kind of like you're buying a car. It's like, yeah, I can afford that, but yeah, no, that would be a no.
Sorry, Optical, go ahead. I need to cut
no, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, Optical. So what if you maybe I'm just looking at this from a different perspective. What if you viewed it a little bit differently insofar as like, okay, you're paying $480 for Aragorn, right? But on the same token, if you bought Taskmaster and Dusty Deadpool and maybe another figure, or maybe just those two, you're paying pretty close to $480 anyway. So you paid the same amount anyway, right? But you bought a figure that's high end that you love more instead of buying a few characters that maybe you were just like, oh yeah, they were discounted, right? Which I think a lot of us do. We shop based on discounts. But at the end of the day, you're still spending the same amount, whether you're viewing it as I'm spending it for one or spending it for two or three. You're still spending the same amount on dolls, so to speak. Right. So what if you viewed it more that way, where you're just kind of like, I paid $480 for Aragorn because I fucking love Aragorn and I want the best Aragorn, and then I didn't buy Taskmaster or whatever, or something like that, then maybe you were just kind of like, oh, I like taking pictures of it, but I don't really care about Taskmaster. Because I think a lot of us do that. So, I mean, that's kind of maybe how I view it a little bit differently. You know what I mean?
I view it in a terms of what is easier to sell, $1 million house or 3 houses for $300,000 each?
Sure.
It's easier to sell a $300,000 house than to sell a $1 million house. Look at Michael Jordan's house; it's still in the market. So that's your comparison right there. I'm not, I don't see myself doing this forever. And when I get out, I don't want $1,000 sitting on anything.
Sure.
I'm getting older, and this only goes for so long. And the last thing I want is not to be able to get my money back for that, because there's no guarantee for this, guys. You look at this way, in art it's good, but they have so limited licenses. What makes you think they're not going to redo Joker? We're going to have a Joker 2.0. This is so much better. Now your Joker 1.0, the $1,000 that you bought has no value, even though you bought it for $1,000, because they only can do Warner Brothers and limited stuffs. And that's one thing I don't want to do. There's a lot of factors, and with your example right there, if I lose $20 on Taskmaster because I bought it for $40, it won't hurt my feelings. It's like, cool, I don't mind $20. I post the heck out of it. If I lose $300 on Aragorn, or if I, or something, that kind of like stings on you more. So I look at it in a more, I know we're all collectors here with passion and, the love for nostalgia, but sometimes the adulthood comes to you and you kind of step back and think different. It was like, yeah. I mean, I could collect every in-art figure out there, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'm thinking, it's like, what if these guys ran out of Warner Brothers to produce?
Yeah.
Are they going to
get some other ones?
Yeah, this Aragorn is $480. What if how can they top this, right? You're asking yourself, how can they top this? By making more characters? What are they going to do? Star Wars? They can't. You can't do Marvel. So what are they going to resort to? Aragorn in Helm's Deep. And how can they do that? They're going to maybe put 2 head sculpts. One is more expressive. And now I got 2 Aragorn worth $1,500. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, don't get me wrong, but I'm not building a shrine of Viggo Mortensen in my house. Like, I'm not gonna dedicate.
That would be pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm not gonna dedicate that much resources for Viggo Mortensen. But
Sure.
it's different for everyone. You can collect with your heart or your passion. I've been here for so long that it's kind of like, the brain waves are kicking in, kind of like, yeah, you know what? Like, I'm doing it right now, like aliens, right? Like I bought one from Mesco because I feel like I don't need a Hot Toys of alien. I can take a picture of this Mesco of an alien. It doesn't have a real face, so that's good.
Right.
Because Aragorn so much better than Asmus, so much better. But I don't know if I really need one. I'm past
I
that
think you
point
do,
now where I'm
Optical.
trying to have a bigger dick than the other guy. Like, oh, my
I don't think it's a
Aragorn.
matter of big dick, bro. I think this is just fucking amazing.
It is
Like-
amazing, but so is like, would you like to drive a Maserati? Yes, you do, right? You won't.
I'll rent one. Can you?
You
rent
won't
one?
finance one. Would they approve it? Sure, they could. Like, I guess it's I'm playing the middle game right now, where this is
Yeah.
not the most important thing in my life, so I could settle. Kind of like with that DeLorean earlier. Do you really need one? For me, I mean, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, sure.
If you're like the best, the greatest of something, go for it. But for me, this is not what I would apply it for.
That
That's
makes
what I
sense.
love
Well,
about.
Keco, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I told myself to go ahead.
Yes, Keiko.
Yeah, it's my
Go
turn.
ahead.
My turn.
Yeah.
What I love about collecting and individualism is that it is so different per person and different stages of life and whatever it may be. And for me, on the other hand, this is like, I'm like the worst person to ask about how much you're willing to pay for a 1/6 figure. For someone that has collected backwards and have needed to get things simply because I have to have this piece. I know we talked, with the in-art, is that there's an in-art Michael Jackson coming. I am ashamed to tell you what I paid for some of my Hot Toys Michael Jackson figures, especially the Billie Jean figure. That is actually the most expensive single figure I've ever bought, was the Michael Jackson Billie Jean. And so I'm that wrong person to ask. But here's one thing I did realize when it comes to these new versions of things coming out. And you can say, do I need to do this? No, I don't, put the adult hat on, or the wolf hat, whatever you prefer. With that being said, there was a time when I remember when 2012 Cap came out, and the new one, and I was like, I don't need this. I got the old one. And the new one was out, and people were taking pictures and doing all that stuff. And I'd keep walking into my display, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, fuck it. That's right. I saved $200. I don't need to worry about this. I just saved $200. I don't need this. But every time I would look at it, it would eat at me. I was like, this is a piece of shit in my display, to where I was like, you know what? I cannot have this terrible thing staring at me when something better is out there. And for me, and this is all collecting philosophy, it all depends. Most collectors want the best version of something. And so they'll be like, okay, yeah, I understand the sentimental value of having something from your childhood or whatever it may be. You say, I want my 1977 Star Wars figures. They're not making, you don't want a Black Series figure to replace that. That's different. But when you have a modified, upgraded version of the same character from the same company, you're going to be like, okay, I want the definitive version of this, because I'll take my losses. I want to have at least it's for me. I said, I'll take my loss. I will sell this for $100, and I want the real 2012 Cap to put in here. And that's what I did. So how much am I willing to pay? As long as I can continue to responsibly make a purchase, I suppose, and not hurt the people around me or, my plans and things like that, I'll probably keep getting the nicer one out there, because I know, do I really want the in-art Aragorn? I don't like Lord of the Rings. You guys know that. Do I want the in-art Aragorn, or do I want the Asmus ones? Do I want to keep walking in there? I was like, well, Aragorn's represented on my shelf. Good enough, because I know most people will be like, shit, I don't even know who this is anymore. It looks like the Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi sculpt. It just sucks, That's what
Right. Well, I get where you're coming from. And I guess, like I said, with Optical, like the way I kind of view it is, and I respect, like I said, everyone's way to collect differently. The way I guess I view it is kind of like, you wouldn't want to overextend your budget, right? So if you're taking,
right, that's the most important.
Right, I think that's most important. So if you're still spending the same amount of money, but you're like, because every in-art figure is not going to be for you, right? Because they're too expensive. Like, you can't buy every single one. You got to be selective, and you got to go after the characters you only truly love, right? But in your case, Optical, I feel like that would be Aragorn, because Aragorn is a character that you love Lord of the Rings probably even more than I do, which is saying something. So I feel like for that type of person, you could have that Aragorn, which is going to be really, really, really nice. And as long as you're not overextending your budget and you're spending the same amount at the end of the day, then it's kind of like, yeah, this one thing is more expensive, but I trimmed a little bit of the fat to get to what I really wanted, to the meat, right? And that's kind of how I view it. So But I mean, hey, Optical, I get where you're coming from too, man. Like I said, if you feel like, man, it's just across a threshold you don't really want to cross, I get that,
Yeah. And it's different too, like because the tier base that you guys have, like it's not
Right.
gonna work for everyone too. Like it's for example,
Sure.
me and Leo, because the tier base is like the characters you absolutely love. Well, we had
Right.
like for example, for me, I have a different vision. Like I don't love a Tusken Raider, but I feel like he could be a filler, for example, to create a scene. So that means I have to buy him, even though he's not, let's say, tier
Correct.
S or tier 1 or 3.
Scene-based collecting is what
Right.
I
So
do.
you got like
Scene-based collecting.
you got like the
SBC.
scene where you have in mind. So now it's now you're playing with kind of like, oh, should I buy one really good one, or should I create like the scene that I have in mind where you have this vision, whether it's gonna happen or not, but you got that. So it depends. It depends on how you view or you want
Absolutely.
to want to do your collection.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, we want to move on from that one because I want to tie us into another topic here that I think is on the track that we're headed towards anyway. So, is an Optical, you referenced this a little bit, so I want to start with you again on this one. Is 1/6 collecting changing, and will Hot Toys need to adapt to those changes? Because I think like Optical, maybe you were hinting at, like with the existence of InArt, and like I said, when J&D comes in, probably this year sometime, if not maybe next year, but I think probably this year in 2023 sometime, they're probably going to announce their first 1/6 figure would be my guess. And then, like I said, there's probably going to be other companies that come in the fold too. And I'm
We'll
just going to
probably be
bring
the
up
Joker a bit.
yeah, I know, right? I'm just going to bring up a general sort of Hot Toys bestsellers list here, just a sort of a background type deal for us. But is 1/6 collecting changing? Because Optical, I think we're getting accustomed to paying higher prices. We're getting accustomed to going for premium, maybe even accustomed to less is more, considering, again, we don't want to overextend our budget and we're spending more on one thing than we would have spent on multiple things before. So I think there could be a shift in philosophy for people where they're buying less, but buying nicer. So I guess we're going to see how that shakes out and what people are willing to do with their collection. But what do you think, Optical? Do you see like sort of the winds changing? Will Hot Toys need to adapt to this? Maybe create a premium line, maybe make less C, D tier characters like Mantis, Nebula, stuff like that, and just focus on like the Iron Mans and Mandos? What do you think?
I think it changed, but I think Hot Toys kind of already did kind of position themselves to change, because you can see the prices going down. So they are making you think, because if we are, I guess, referring to InArt, who's going to change the game, I guess it changed to some people, right? It's not for everyone, like you said, because we still have Star Wars figures that you won't consider S tier, but they're making them. But they are what Hot Toys did was, for example, that Anakin was for like 280, which is really good, right? All it needs is to have a rooted hair, and you'll be like, this is InArt. If it has rooted hair, you'll be like, oh man, this is InArt did Star Wars,
Right.
and this is 280. So this is where they're kind of make you, for some people who has limited budget, make you blur the lines. We're gonna be like, all right, should I buy Aragorn or Anakin and something else? For if you really need to make that hard decision. So I think even with the Spider-Man, the one with the Tom Holland with a beautiful head sculpt with the purse as well. So that's 280 as well. So those two figures, you have them, and then you can position them as like, all right, would you like to have, Aragorn or Anakin and Toby Maguire? I mean, that's not Toby, but Spider-Man. But
sure.
This is kind of like where you're gonna, okay, you have $500, you can only spend it on once. Which one would you get? So I think in that sense, they kind of did. Would they need to step up? I don't think they need to have a premium line, because now they are admitting that these guys are not premium, and yet you're still charging 280. So you're gonna be like, kind of like, yeah, they kind of do suck, but you know what? It's good enough. I don't think they should do that. They have the DX line, which is arguably has more things that kind of supposed to be the premium line, but I don't think they need to compete with InArt. I think InArt needs to be by themselves. Like Honda's competing with BMW. Like, no, Honda needs to exist and BMW needs to exist, or whatever the car is. It is changing because now we have more options, and options are always beautiful. So if you want to have less and just have a more curated, collections of just nice things, that's for you. If you want to have more, let's say you're a more Star Wars fan, that you need more troopers and all that. So the good news is there's no right or wrong way of collecting. It's your preference. So, but the fact that they all exist, and InArt is I love the fact that InArt is doing things that Hot Toys wouldn't even touch. That's a gamble in their part, and I love the fact that they're doing that, and they are, putting up this effort to do that, because Hot Toys feels like they're always doing the safe ones, the Star Wars, the Marvel, the DC. Yet InArt is tackling, this Lord of the Rings, which no one would touch but Asmus. So it is changing in a sense that we have more options now. If I was Hot Toys, I would not need to adapt too much because I do have the IPs that people wanted, but I would kind of step up the game on the premium ones like the Anakins because you'd have no choice. But I would be like, hey, you know what? It's closer. It's closer to in art. We might not be in art, but I'll make you think to, hey, would you rather spend your 500 here or there? Because I don't think they need to be competition for both of them. They have two different products outside of the Batman now. That is the only overlapping product. And
Pennywise.
Yeah.
Right.
And Pennywise. But other than that, I don't think they need to compete.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Keco, what do you think, bro, about this? Do you think 1.6 is changing? Are we getting accustomed to spending more? Is Hot Toys going to need to adjust to these changes in the possible market? What do you think?
A couple things that I think are important to at least acknowledge, not just the product themselves, but the distribution and the acquisition of said product. That is the one I think is the most in flux, and we'll need to figure out how they adapt to that. It's the distribution model because we still have no idea what's going on with Sideshow. InArt talked about, how they have to worry about regional distribution issues and regional licenses, and that's always going to be a tricky subject. And I think that more clarity would go a long way so that we can know kind of what to expect. Yeah, they put out hey, we acquired these 15 new licenses. Okay, what does that mean for me, essentially, other than hey, I might see this figure from this movie? So I feel like the distribution, the acquisition, and kind of the selection of figures is going to be evolving a little bit. And I would love, in a perfect world, there to be, U.S. distribution for InArt, actual U.S. distribution, not having to go through retailers. I would love for there to be a secret base, in North America. I think those would be great things as well. I think a lot of people would like that as well. But as far as the figures themselves, I don't know, what more you could be doing. Yeah, you can do the rooted hair. You can do more detailed head sculpts. That'll always continue to improve. As technology increases, art increases, the likenesses will always increase. That's fine. But what more could you do? Premium outfits, cool, that's fine. Like Optical said, maybe on certain characters do the rooted hair option as well. You're getting to the point to where there's not much more you can do, because if you start putting more stuff in the box, then it's just dead weight and wasted space, resources. People will be like, I don't want all that stuff. I go back to, and I feel like I've done a 180 on this a little bit. I was super hyped about the deluxe integrated suit Spider-Man I got with that big base. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Look at all these sweet pictures I can take. As soon as I finished taking up the pictures, I'm like, okay, where am I going to put this base? Yeah, this is cool, but now I can't put this figure in my display with these other figures because I don't have the space for it, essentially. So yeah, these bases are cool. And if you only get a limited number of characters and you have, limited number of space, that works fine. But for me, I'm like, yeah, cool base, but now I can't really use it or anything like that. So I don't know if I want more stuff, in the box. That's because especially when everyone's like, oh, look at all the stuff you get with a Spider-Man. You get 50 hands and 50 eyes and 50 accessories, a pizza box, a coffee cup. How many of those are you going to actually use? And I mean, even the number of hands, I was like, oh shit, Gilgamesh only came with 2 pairs of hands. Well, do I really want 15 pairs of expression hands or whatever? Right. I don't know, honestly. And maybe that's just me because I don't switch out my hands as often, but I feel like that's something to consider as well. It's certainly going to be interesting because right now, I mean, everyone's highly invested and there's no need to really change much, but I don't know. We'll see. Well,
I think, Keco, the point I want to make to that, and I think you raised some really good ones. So the way I kind of view it is maybe what they might need to do is not put more in the box, but put more quality in the box. That's my point, I think. And that's kind of maybe what I'm thinking, because we got a lot of really good comments about here, even from Carlos, a wireless charging Iron Man, something like that, right? You put him on the base, he lights up automatically. You flick the switch, he lights up, right? We don't have to put the batteries in. A lightsaber USB, they're making improvements on that. Maybe a lightsaber somehow, some sort of innovation where you can put them on the base and the lightsaber lights up too, something like that, right?
That was a really good point that they brought. I keep going back to our interview that on Queen, is that I never thought through that. Is we're not ready to commit to light up features because if we have all these electronics and something goes wrong in them, you're ripping the figure apart to try to get it fixed. And I was like, you know what? I'd never thought about that because yeah, you can put all these coils and all that stuff's great, but what if it doesn't work? What if something goes wrong and then you're having to send it back, overseas, to get fixed and stuff, which That's not going to happen. And so that's a great point as well.
Well, and it's also, Keco, like, I think Carlos or someone else pointed out, like, instead of this Vader being leather, right? Make it leather. Like, say it's 500 at that point, I get it. But I think there'd be a lot of people, and you could have this version too that's pleather, right? And all for that one. But there'd be a lot of people out there that would line up to pay 500 for a real leather Vader, especially with how good this figure looks in totality. But you make it a leather figure, and damn. Like, I think, again, there's some game changer things that can be done, I feel like. And again, we always talk about Hot Toys. We expect a decline optical. We expect a decline from from prototype, right? What if you didn't have to have that? What if you didn't have to have a significant one anyway, where you could pay for, say, a premium line where you have an artist who is going to deliver what you want? Maybe they don't, but there's a better chance, right? And they're advertising it that way. Like an artist, they just, maybe it's not JC, right? For JC, you'd pay a lot more. But someone that's like, okay, it's to be pretty damn close to the prototype because you're buying the premium line, right? That's what I'm thinking, Optical. Do you think that could be something that comes to fruition and still offer these too? I mean,
that's very dangerous for a business because you always, that's why Apple, you'd be like, oh, it's, incremental upgrade, because otherwise you won't buy an Apple every year, so as a business you don't want to give it all even though you're paying 500, because we're suckers, right? Like we already have a Vader, you got another Vader because the tunic is inside out or not in, because the tusk is different than the other, right? I mean, at the end of the day you got Vader, but would you do that if it's their 500 a pop, right? Like, or this is where it happens earlier, you ask, it's like, oh, would you spend $500? Like in Hot Toys mind, we'd rather sell you 4 Vaders than you buying 1 Vader for the rest of your life. Kind of like, so that's what Hot Toys mentality is. Can be like, hey, it was like, we're hurting ourselves if we just make it, indestructible and forever. Just like,
it's going to be in your coffin with you.
Right. I was like, hey, because I'm a business too. I need to sell stuff. And this is where, if you look at InArt, where would they go after these guys, right? Like, where would they go? It's like, what characters would they make? So this is, Hot Toys got it to a science where, hey, you got a Vader? Oh, we'll give you another Vader. We'll just change this. And you're going to be like, you already have an Iron Man, but this is metal. I was like, now it's like, this is USB. Now you just upgraded your Iron Man twice because it has USB. And as a business, that's how you kind of like stay in the business. Kind of like, hey, we're giving you little bits of pieces here and eventually. But if you do that, I mean, it's good for us collectors. I would love to have that, but I don't think it's going to happen, just for that simple fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see over time, bro. It's going to be interesting, man. I don't know what to believe anymore, but we're going to find out. Guys, let's address something real quick, and we can hit this one real quick because I think there's going to be some people who care about this. But the premium toys, Dr. Fate. This actually popped up. I saw this actually, I think on maybe Kit's group today. It's called Magic Lord. So Magic Lord, they always come up with these great names for these third-party figures. But this is a Dr. Fate from Black Adam. It has the Pierce Brosnan likeness. It's like $154 shipped on Kit's 16 Kit's website. So you can get this other places too, but like I said, I always like Kit. But I mean, with the helmet on, it does look pretty cool. And for the people out there that really liked Black Adam, even though you will never see him again, probably, unfortunately, this is an option for you. So Optical, I know you kind of liked Black Adam. Would this be something you consider? I mean, for $150?
No.
Yeah, me either.
No, but it looks good. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I've seen worse third party. I mean, even the sculpt doesn't look bad in my opinion. I mean, with a helmet on, obviously it looks, but isn't that supposed to be like more shinier, like more reflective, Again, at 154, you can't really complain. I mean, it's just not bad.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's okay. It's
right.
I see him there, if you squint enough,
if you look this direction, yeah, you could.
If you like close one eye or something, it's like, it's there. But if you like Black Adam, with the trajectory that DC is going in right now, you might not see this be made. Plus, spoiler alert, he died. Maybe he's not really dead.
Damn.
Right.
Who knows? But but it for 154, this is kind of like you just close your eyes, add the card. If you are, if you're into this, but.
Right.
Yeah, with the prices now, that's.
And you don't really know Optical premium toys. Is that Toys Era? I don't really know. So
trying to get away from the the 16 police,
right? The licensors, yeah. So yeah, but I'm with you. What do you think, Keco, about this Dr. Fate?
Usually, the better the third-party name, the better the figure is going to be. I mean, you can't go wrong with Boss Man and Green Menace and Blind Vigilante, the Cajun Card Dealer. All those are classics. But you bring up an interesting point. The question is necessary for DCU collectors.
Mm-hmm.
They're starving for stuff. So it's kind of like do I want to eat this shit sandwich? Well, I haven't had anything to eat, so I might as well eat something. But I mean, it's extremely uninspiring, and I know I'm going to sound like the biggest Marvel shill and honk and all that. People are going to not like me, but I just did not, and maybe it's just because I don't like The Rock, and I've told you all about that before. Is that I don't understand The Rock and the fascination with him, and I didn't see like where this movie was supposed to be. The power structure has changed in the DCU and all this stuff. Like, I've never seen more uninspiring characters than these people. You know, like you look at these and you're like, is this from The Boys? You know, because at least they look like fake superheroes, you know, something that you wouldn't expect.
Well, don't trash The Boys, Kiko. You like The Boys.
That's why I like The Boys. That's
okay,
why I'm
good.
saying.
Okay,
like,
I was about to say, I was like,
this,
whew. Come on now.
This character looks like they would fit in The Boys universe, is what I'm saying. Okay, and everyone's like, well, you must not read the comics. Damn. I was like, no, I don't. I do not read the DC comics. And so all I have to say is that no, I'm not interested in this. But I think DCU characters or fans want it because they don't have anything. And I also don't think you should just get something because you want or because you have nothing, you know. Hold out, guys. I know it's hard out there. There's got to be something, you know, for you to come. But man, maybe Magic Lord is the missing piece in your collection.
The Magic Lord is going to be what everyone needs in their collection. But yeah, for those out there who want Dr. Fate, you know, take a look. But for me, you know, in Optical, I think this is what we talk about just to wrap up this topic, the kind of the less is more type thing that maybe the mentality is starting to change a little bit, where people see this and they're just like, well, I just paid $480 for Aragorn, so I'm not going to spend $150 on this.
Is his ears out?
Yeah, his ears out. Is that the way in the film? I don't remember.
I think he's supposed to like just, I don't know. Maybe I should watch it
He's
again.
vulnerable.
His ears are out. Like he needs headphones or something.
Yeah, no, he's going to have AirPods in next time. Yeah. But guys, yeah, thanks so much for thoughts on that topic. So, all right, so we're moving on from Dr. Fate. Pick it up if you want to pick it up. I guess we're going to find out, see who gets it. Guys, let's talk about something real quick. There was a trailer that dropped recently, and I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on this because I know Kiko said a lot of Marvel hinges on this film, and the trailer was pretty dope. Optical, did you see this trailer yet?
No.
See? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer that comes out, I think it comes out in February, so next month, and they showed Kang, obviously, a little bit more of Kang. He's the main villain, it seems like, in the film. And I wanted to ask you guys, Optical, you haven't even seen the trailer yet, but knowing who's in the film, you know, Wasp, Ant-Man, you know, Hank Pym and all them, and Quantum, and, you know, you got, you know, his daughter, Cassie, as well, Ant-Man's daughter, and Kang. But I started to think about this. I was like, as excited as we are about this film, is Kang the only figure that we're excited for from this film? Because we already have multiple Ant-Man and Wasp figures. So maybe these two are the iconic versions. Maybe that happens. But I don't know if those were characters that people ever lined up for anyway. So like the Ant-Man sculpt that came out that looked like a human atrocity, that one came out and everyone was like, yeah, this sucks. Hot Toys was like, well, it's shipping to you bitches, so you're just going to take it. So is Kang, Optical, seeing this picture, is he the only figure from this film, this line that we care about?
Listen, man. You fool me once, you're not gonna fool me again. I bought the first Thanos when they arrived. I'm gonna buy the Kang when he is in the Avengers
when he's
movie.
in Avengers or Secret Wars or whatever.
Kang from Quantum Mania.
Right.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, you already got me with that Thanos. I'm not gonna do it again.
Oh, you bought the Guardians of the Galaxy one?
No, I mean, I wanted to buy that because I'll be like,
he's talking about the Infinity War.
I
love
the Infinity War one.
Yeah, so do I. That's the one I took the picture of today.
Yeah, Infinity War, and not only that, the Endgame version, because I wanted now after the Endgame version, was like, oh man, this is the Thanos we'd all been waiting for, and then here comes the Battle Damage Thanos, which is a better base, and you know, be like, God damn it, Hot Toys, you know, they're not gonna do that to me with this Kang. I'm gonna wait for him to appear on the Avengers till I pick him up. But yeah, I mean, if you can't wait, because that's like years ahead from us, who knows? That's probably like 4 years ahead. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, because I already have Ant-Man with that atrocity of the head sculpt and Wasp. I mean, it's not like I'm an Ant-Man collector. I just need one.
Right.
I don't need one more. So yeah, I mean, it's funny enough because we all like Marvel here. Back in the first phase, that is the weakest movie in that phase 1, 2, 3. Now we can't wait to see Quantumania. That's how weak this lineup has been in this new phase that we're in. And we're like, oh man, have you seen the new Ant-Man trailer? Back then it was like, man, look at that Ant-Man trailer. God damn it.
It's like, anyway, onto that.
It was like, this is just better by a hair, and you know, with Captain Marvel. But No, I mean, yeah, I guess this one, if you want to do that, but no, I'll wait. I'll pass on this one.
That's actually a really good point, though, Optical, about waiting, because he is going to show up in Avengers. And I don't know if we'll be in Secret Wars. I guess so. I'm not exactly sure. Someone might have to drop that in the chat. But I know he will be in Avengers. And from what I recall, the Shang-Chi director is directing the first Avengers that is coming up. So very excited about that. Keco, I know this is going to be your favorite film because you love Marvel. What do you think, bro? Is Kang the figure you're excited for from this film?
You are right that I'd said, and even talked on the last episode, that Phase 4 sucked, and this is the only option to get Marvel back on track, is that they need to nail this movie, because this is the opening to Phase 5. And I started to get, all the shits and giggles when I saw the trailer for this. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm there, and I'm hyped to go see it. I will go see it opening weekend. It's done more for me already than, Black Panther 2 did, even with its incredible trailer and all that stuff. Because I want to see where they're going. We all need to know what Kang is threatening to Scott, saying, if you want more time with Cassie, get me what I want. Well, what does he want? There's all those theories out there that we got to figure out what it is. I have my own theories on what that is as well. But all that to say, is this the figure that we're excited for? I would think so. And I will go on record right now. You will see this. The DX of this, you can either get Kang, or you can get the DX with Kang with a plastic MODOK that comes with him.
Oh, okay.
All right. Kind of like the Jawa Gonk droid type of thing. You'll just get a MODOK with the full armor or whatever. If you want the deluxe of MODOK, it'll have the face underneath it. But I can really see them. Are you going to the actual
I'm trying to find MODOK. Yeah, I know. There's Kang, by the way.
Yeah, he's like, it shows him like fly up or whatever, and it's got the mask on.
Yeah, I saw when people talked about him, I was like, is that him?
Yep.
Yeah, there he is. Hold on. He's around here.
But
somewhere.
I can see
there
that. I can see that being a. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I can see that being like a plastic add-on or whatever, just because it's small or whatever. But so yes, everyone wants Kang. I can see it being kind of like the team suit Tony with the blue, that goes over with that little light or whatever. I can just see it being like that, and it's probably going to need to be like the Spider-Man 2020, where it's the USB plug-in to get the full effect, because otherwise he looks kind of shitty when his like eyes aren't on and the chest isn't on. So thankfully, they went USB on that, which makes it good. But I'm honestly, the figure I want the most is Cassie. I got Ant-Man, I got the Wasp, so you got your blue, you got your yellow, you got your red. I want the purple Cassie suit. I think that's going to look awesome, put all together and such. And I think they'll probably finally get a serious, Ant-Man Paul Rudd face to go with it. And it'll be good. Yeah.
And there it is. And there's the lineup right there. But it's interesting because, and this movie is called Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Wasp is barely in this trailer. She's like really hardly in any of the trailers.
I wonder if it's because of the bad press that Evangeline Lilly got, a year or so ago. And they're like, kind of the same stuff they're doing. Because Bill Murray's in this too. And they didn't show any of Bill Murray.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Bill Murray got in trouble too. So,
or maybe Wasp dies in this film. And that's why we don't see her that much.
Potentially.
Because Loki was not in the Infinity War trailer very long. So, we all knew why that was. So, and everyone was speculating before the film. They were like, Loki's going to die. Thanos is going to kill Loki. And he did. So it happened. But I'm excited for Kang. But Optical, you got me thinking now. I think you're right. Like, I'm just going to wait because he's showing up in Avengers. So he's the Avengers threat. So I think at that point,
we'll see.
Yeah. I think he will. So I think he is the villain for Avengers, right?
That's I do know that, but like I said, you're going to need to. Yeah, the trailer's cool, but I've been fooled before. You really need to send me out of that film saying, okay, this dude's going to wreck some shit for the next, 3 years, essentially, because that's what we got with Thanos. We knew that he was going to be the bad guy, and that it's going to be ultimately leading to him, and so we know all. Without trying to be that guy or whatever, we know all the stuff that he's capable of from the comics and such. And that's a great, comic accurate look. That looks fantastic. And, we'll see.
With the green too, I'm wondering if that would be pleather. It probably would.
Or like whatever the Green Goblins, like stuff. Like one of the things that Toys Era does, I think they did it on Ebony Maw as well as The Fiend, is that it's not leather, it's not pleather, it's not rubber, it's some strange thing.
Magical,
whatever that ends up being, that's the fabric that needs to be on this, because it doesn't stretch, it stretches, it doesn't crease, it doesn't rip, it's just good.
Optical, that is going to take a lot though, because that is a damn good outfit. It is a really.
If he is a badass on the movie, we
I
might
know.
not cave in. You know, like
I know.
mean, we know he's coming into the Avengers movie, but he's really badass in here.
Right, and this outfit looks dope.
I didn't regret Infinity War Thanos, to be honest, because I love Infinity War. I did regret the Endgame Thanos because of the battle damage.
Battle damage, right? So they get you one way or another, and there will be multiple Kangs. You're going to get Kang probably 3 or 4 times, maybe. Like,
maybe.
And there could be 2 different Kangs from this film because he's wearing different outfits. It seems like to me. So, but yeah, that is a dope. And now that I see this shot, I'm like, damn, I don't know. That is a pretty dope outfit. But we'll have to see how.
Imagine how good that purple and green and blue will look on a shelf.
Yeah. And with the blue mask, I'm assuming it'll just be like a blue tinted sort of mask and maybe a light up underneath.
Yep, just like that team suit, Tony.
Right, exactly. See, Keco's ahead of the game. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, we're moving on to the next topic. We got a couple more for you guys, and I think we got just enough time to get through them. I want to ask, there's 2 final, little topics here that we want to address. Number 1, shopping Hot Toys deals. Because right now, it's deals galore. I know Optical, Keco, you got too hot for the hat. Oh, you're muted.
I was getting hot there.
Yeah, no, after a while, bro, you can only be the liver king for so long. So, but yeah, shopping deals. I want to get to you first on this one, Optical, because shopping deals is kind of your forte. It's kind of your area of expertise. What do you recommend? Like, what's the number 1 tip you would give people for shopping Hot Toys deals?
It kind of, well, number 1 is be patient. It kind of dried up, honestly, because we all kind of suspected it after a new year, like it's going to dry up. So now we are relegated to, like the daily deals and hoping, crossing your fingers. Because even today we have that 13% off at Sideshow. Doesn't feel like, because you're just coming up 25% and 30%. So 13% is kind of like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of sites right now where you can buy Hot Toys. That's why, like this waitlist fever mania that was like, oh, it's blue screen. You're going to do it. Doesn't feel as threatening as it was 7 years ago because you got pop culture. Worst case, you can get it from Hong Kong, and the prices are still relatively, pretty much the same. I would say, the newer releases, they're not going to be on sale. So if you wait a few months, if you're patient, you can probably get a deal. Maybe not as good as it was like 2-3 months ago. 2-3 months ago, they're like 30%, 25%, free shipping, double rewards, whatever it is. Buy one, get 150 off. But yeah, if you and then you kind of have to, it's like, are they going to make a new movie? Because that's the thing with Marvel before. Oh, is there going to be a new version? Should I pick this up right away? You kind of know the guys that are not on sale now that are going to be on sale, like Cable, Vision, Winter Soldier. Those are the guys who are like, I know you like them. Let's say you like them, but I'm telling you, if you wait a couple of more months, you would see them in the 20% off kind of deal. But hey, it's all about patience, right? Like if you can't wait, yeah, it's just it's like, hey, it's just money. I don't want to wait 2 months just to save $40. It's
right,
your prerogative. You can do that. But yeah, you can shop at Pop Culture. But you got to do conversions too, because maybe it's like that $349 sounds good in theory, and then they slap you with $120 shipping charge. So, some places are. Is that Toys Wonderland?
It looks like it. No, it's actually Alter Ego.
It's Alter Ego.
But you're seeing like Mysterio Iron Man for $357. They have like Rescue for $285. Endgame Thor Iron Patriot for $328.
Yeah.
So they have some good options, and they had it looks like maybe it sold. They had the Boba Fett 2-pack. It was like maybe $370, and I think they must have sold it. So yeah, but nonetheless, Optical, there are deals out there.
There is out there. It's just up to you to find them, and to make sure it's a balancing act. Like you go to a one website, and then they're like $200. The shipping is $300. You're like, oh shit! It's like, what did I get myself into? So you just kind of gauge, and also the character, how soon it went out, like that Vision.
Oh, damn, 188 for this Vision. I didn't realize 188 for that Vision.
Oh, damn.
Alter Ego.
I got mine on eBay for 150.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
wow.
there you go. See, Alter Ego is just trying to keep up with it. They got Throbbing.
Right. So these guys like the Robin and Sonar Batman, I don't know if they would actually hit the 20%. Maybe
Right.
not. That's kind of like iffy. So just do your research and all that stuff. Like that Cable is
Even
already
Cable
out.
229.
230.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So Moff
And
Gideon,
there's your figure, Keco, team suit.
Really isn't that bad, honestly. Put a scroll head on it. It's lovely.
See, there you go. But Optical, yeah, I mean, there are deals out there. Alter Ego, there are other places to shop from too. But yeah, Alter Ego is dropping some deals right now.
Wow,
So,
I didn't even know that.
yeah. So Boba Fett, repaint armor, 225. Taskmaster's a little bit high, honestly, for what they've been charging for the other figures. But the Artillery Trooper, 165.
165.
Yeah.
Are they free shipping? No, right? Like
no, some of them are though. Some of them are like if you click them, it'll say calculated checkout, and some will say free shipping. So some are free shipping. Like Vision's not, but shipping's like $8 to $10.
188 for Vision. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty low, pretty low. So Keco, what do you think, bro? What's your number one tip for shopping Hot Toys deals?
People aren't going to like this because everyone's like, just go to your buy sell trades and check on Facebook Marketplace and all that. That doesn't work for me. I've never bought a single damn thing off a Facebook Marketplace. Or I take that back. There was a local person that I was able to stop by his house and grab something. That was different. But I don't do any of like the, hey, in search of, BST. I don't do any of that stuff. I always go to eBay. And it's like, oh my God. But that's the bigger pool, honestly. That's where the bigger market share is and where people are dumping their stuff. And the number one tip is find somebody with a make it offer. That's the number one thing I can say is that don't get into a bidding war with somebody, because sometimes there's just those assholes that be like, if I can't have it, they're not going to get it. And they just bid all the way up and just like, fuck you. But if you find somebody that just has something for, maybe it's listed for that's how I got my Stormtrooper Han. It was listed for a fair price, but it said, make me an offer. And I made them a fair offer under what it usually goes for. And they accepted. Boom. I came out on top. And they're like, well, you're going to get stuck paying over retail. Not all the time. I paid $150 for this Vision shipped, $150 shipped. And I replaced my aging Vision. So I go to eBay as my place. And also if something goes wrong, the buyer protection there is so good. And, originally I had a guy said he'd shipped it and never shipped. And I was like, give me a refund. Got my refund. Things like that, just because it's an actual, they back the backer, or they back the buyer.
They back the backer.
Yeah. They back the buyer. And that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I just get real weirded out, just hoping that people's goodwill comes through, like on buy sell trades. And I was like, well, I'll do a referral check and all that. I just don't deal with that stuff. So I go to eBay, do a make an offer. It works out every time.
Yeah, I actually don't buy used as much anymore. I don't know, just maybe gotten less comfortable with it over time. The one thing I would say, and Optical, we've talked about this a bunch, about shopping deals, my number one tip would be, just because it's a good deal, again, doesn't mean it's a good deal for you. So sometimes it's good to show restraint. Good too,
yeah.
Right?
You don't have to have it.
Right, because at the end of the day, I see this Vision, and trust me, I feel the temptation. I'm like, damn, 188, let's buy it, right? But I don't really want a Vision. Right? I just want to buy it because I know it's a really good price and it's probably a really good figure. But do I really give a shit about Vision? Not especially. Not enough to go drop $200 on it. But if you do really want Vision, you've been holding out, then by all means. But, for example, Chrome Mando. I want a Chrome Mando. I'm just waiting for it to come into stock on Sideshow so I can use my code, and then I'm going to get a discount because I have the teacher discount, which gives you 15% off because I'm a teacher. So that's what I love about it. So anytime they get something in stock, I can get 15% off because of my teacher discount. So they do it for military teachers, and I forget who else, maybe some other people.
Isn't that the ID me thing or whatever it's called?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's pretty awesome. So I love that they do that. So yeah, I would say that that's pretty dope. But I mean, that would be my number one tip. Recognize that you don't need to have it just because it's a good deal. If you waited that long, unless you did it with intent, with purposeful intent, then I was going to wait and just till it got discounted, but I was always going to get this thing. Maybe take a step back for a day or two and be like, do I really want Vision? Do I really want it in infantry trooper, whatever the fuck it's called? Like, do I really want that? Right? It's $166, but do I really care? And that's kind of thing. And they have Kiko's Boy, by the way, the Optimus Prime, the DLX version. So,
well, that's only the 18, or that's only like this 16. One. That's not this one.
Oh, they don't have the good one then. That's it. So, but yeah, I mean, and even White Vision, that's probably going to get discounted to all hell too.
That's a hell of a figure, by the way.
Yeah,
I love my White Vision.
Yeah, it looks pretty dope. But yeah, and I mean, they even got the crow bust. So, they got everything you want. But that would be my tip as far as like shopping deals, that it doesn't need to be the deal for you just because it's a good deal. So let other people do that.
Sage advice, sir.
Yeah, I try to drop some wisdom every now and then. I learned from Optical and everyone else. So, tried to learn the game a little bit. But guys, I think we're going to wrap it there because we've gone through a lot of topics. And when I edit these into clips for people, I'm going to have like 1 million clips to upload. So I don't want people to be oversaturated with too many clips. They're going to be like, oh my God, I can't watch all this. So guys, I think we're going to wrap it there because we've covered a lot of content in 1 hour and 18 minutes. That said, let's go around the panel real quick and address this Avengers level panel and see what they got going on. Mr. Keco Collects, thanks so much for joining. As always, Lights, Camera, Keco. How's the channel going? What's coming up?
Man, I love being a staple on this show, Will. I never thought I'd be on a streaming site. You know, here I am. But thank you, Will, as always. And also to our studio audience, thank you for putting up with me again. That we've had a great time. But yeah, newest video coming out, due out real soon. As I said, if I could ever get over there and click upload, that'd be ideal. But we're doing a topic called the ups and downs of collecting. So we're going to talk about that because we go through lulls, we go through ups, we go through downs, but you need to be able to weather all of that to be a successful collector and be a longevity collector. So we'll talk about those things. That's on the YouTube channel. But and we're this close to 5,000 on YouTube, and we're getting real close to 6,500 on Instagram. So that's kind of what we're looking for. If you like reels, if you like photos and collection things, Instagram's your thing. I'm still trying to figure Instagram out one day, but that's what's going on with me. Bengals are playing on Sunday night, so I'll see if I'm in a good mood come Monday. You know, it's a holiday, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And the Bengals, don't they play the Ravens?
They sure do.
Yeah,
the depleted Ravens.
They're gonna smash them, bro.
I hope so, man. I don't ever take any game, you know, for granted, but there's no reason that we should not advance.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree, bro. Well, guys, check out Keco Collects, YouTube, Instagram. Excellent photos, just like Optical out there, and excellent content over there on YouTube. So I got to step my photo game up to keep up with these guys. Optical, always a blast having you, bro. Like I said, we're going to do The Last of Us hopefully on Monday. So really excited about that, guys. We're going to do that. Optical, what's coming up on your channel, man, and Instagram? I know you got some photos, hopefully brewing some videos.
Oh man, I've been really lazy the past few days.
You've been hibernating, bro. That's why.
Yeah, the Bears just kept me, you know, just down all year. But we got the #1 pick, so we got the number. Yeah, that's true.
Well, do you think they're going to keep Fields? I don't know.
Like they should. I mean,
it was pretty good. I mean,
it was pretty good. You know, like I mean, that would be a shocker because I think you get more value if you trade a #1 pick than trading Fields.
Right.
You know, so
I don't think there's a generational quarterback for them in this draft.
Yeah, like if you trade the #1, keep Fields, however they feel about that, we'll see. But they can go drop 4, they still draft the guy that they want, the Will Anderson. But yeah, I mean, as far as the channel, nothing much. Mostly just gears. I have the slides that I bought. I don't know. I've just been fascinated with gears lately. So instead of figures, like I said, my last purchase was November 1. So it's about time. It's been gonna be 3 months since I bought my last figure. But yeah, I have some old ones like the Dusty Pool that I didn't want to put out there.
Dude,
I just matched up with Cable, and I got Cable, and so yeah, whatever. But yeah, man, thanks for having me. It's always a blast being here.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for joining. Always a blast to have you, bro. Definitely got to bring you back on soon. And guys, like I said, we have the show every Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Me and Keco. We always have a third guest, so it's always a blast. And Sunday we have Collectors Mingle. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern, per usual. I'm going to do a collection tour reaction sometime soon. I think I'm going to do a Cheat and Ask Dan from 6 Scale Reviews. So I think I'm going to do that. So that's going to be exciting. And I'll give you guys some more info. So there's a YouTube channel out there that's going to be called Everything The Last of Us. So I've created that, and I'm going to be covering the games, the shows, the merchandise, everything. Working on that. Optical is going to be live streaming with me. So really excited to be doing that. Just getting the gears moving on it. Bought some new gear to do some stuff for that channel and some other stuff on this channel. So lots of new content going to be coming your way. And guys, thanks so much for watching. Thank you for contributing to the chat. And thank you all for the very generous super chats. It really does mean a lot. And just being awesome collectors and chatting with us. That said, peace out, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.